You'll notice with the sample that this isn't necessarily like a traditional long paper. Instead, you're following a very specific format where you give me a term or a concept. You're going to define it from the textbook. And then you're going to take like a paragraph or so and tell me how would you apply it to your life. And you'll do this 5 different times. I've given you 3 and then I wrote and so on. So you're following this very specific format. There are 5 separate things that you're going to talk about how you could take a term or a concept that we've covered, define it, which could be totally copied and pasted, that's fine, but the application piece is where most of your points are coming in. I'm looking to see that you can take something that we've covered and apply it to your life, right? Make sense of it in some way and talk about how you could use that in some element of your life. Okay, so let's go back and look at the instructions for a moment here. So here is the instructions. Here's that sample I just showed you. I also gave you a concept list. So what I did is I just went through each chapter and wrote some of like the big terms and concepts that we've covered in case you're feeling a little bit intimidated by trying to remember everything. So ideally you're picking 5 different like terms or concepts that are on here. Let's say that when we were in the memory unit, you're like the spacing effect was really helpful to you. And that's something that you feel like you could apply to your life. Or maybe in the conditioning unit, positive or negative reinforcement was something that stood out to you as like, oh, I could use this to help myself with whatever, right? So that's what you're doing. You're picking 5 terms, different ones from different chapters across the class that you could write about and connect to your life. Now, when you're ready to go ahead and do this, you'll click right here where it says closing assignment, instructions. And up here at the top, this is where you'll hit start assignment in order to bring up that text box. But just as a quick review, this is worth 25 points. It's due by this Friday night. You're uploading a file, so it can be doc, docx, PDF, and RTF. Those are the formats that are accepted by Canvas. So if it's on Pages, you might need to convert it to like a PDF. But here are the instructions, again, like I've kind of mentioned so far. You're going to go over that list of topics and pick 5 specific examples or concepts, terms that you can apply to your life. And you'll give me the term, the definition, and the application. You're going to number your examples 1 through 5, make sure it's written out clearly, make it really easy for me to see what you're covering. You're going to be uploading your file on here, and I gave you a rubric. Basically, if you do this correctly and you give me lots of detail, you'll get 25 points. If you're a little bit off, or maybe you don't follow the formatting, or you don't quite give me enough, you'll get 20 or 15 and so on. So just make sure that you do take some time. This is my way of making sure that you can connect some topics to your life. And hopefully you have way more than 5, but pick your top 5 and write about how you could use them in your life in some way. Okay, so like usual, you have those 2 chapters and 2 discussions and then an exam because we're in an even week. But don't forget to also do this 25-point closing assignment. I also gave you a really quick closing survey. It's completely anonymous. It's just your chance if you'd like to give me some feedback about things that you liked or maybe could be better as part of this class. I'm always trying to improve and make things better. So I really value your feedback. If there's something you would like to share with me, positive or negative or constructive, I would love to hear it. I will post the recording of this right here later. And here's where you can answer that extra credit question that I'll give you in a moment. I do have a couple of reminders for you as we kind of round into the end of our time. Remember that our class officially ends Friday night at 11:59 p.m. Friday, December 1st at 11:59 p.m. Okay, so I'm going to put that in the chat just as a quick reminder. I've mentioned it a few times. Inevitably, somebody, right, will... Our proposal project, wrong class. So the proposal project is in my research methods class, which is at 12:30. So that class does not end Friday. That one ends later, which I'll talk about in that class at 12:30. So yeah, that don't want to confuse you on that one. But our class, the intro psych class, ends Friday night at 11:59 p.m., which is December 1st. The other reminder that I have for you. A lot of you, I think there's only maybe, I copied the wrong thing in there. Sorry about that. There's only a handful of you that are still subscribed on Twitch. If you have the opportunity to renew that one more time, I would really appreciate that. Again, I spend a lot of time going through. There's like 16, 18 of you in here at the moment. And so it's really helpful. If you are subscribed, it makes my life much easier. So if you could take one more opportunity to do that, I would really appreciate it. Or if you're watching this later as a recording, that's how you can get those extra credit points as well. Otherwise, let me give you the extra credit question, and then I'll see if any of you have any questions for me before we call it a day. This is related to one of the topics that we're covering this week on the different therapies. So this is the week number 8 Twitch extra credit question. So if someone had a phobia or an extreme fear of heights, what are 2 different methods that could be used for treatment, and explain? So if someone had a phobia or really intense fear of heights, what are 2 different methods that could be used to treat them, and go ahead and explain. Okay, so that's what I'd like you to focus on. If you go over to Canvas, you'll click right here on optional Twitch extra credit number 8, since we're in week number 8. Then you can click on start assignment up at the top and type your response in the box and hit submit. Okay, so get your last confetti burst and trophies for the semester. I love that so many of you did these all semester long. Hopefully you really enjoyed getting all those extra points, taking some pressure off the final, or maybe a missed discussion or something like that. You can still do this one for 2 last points. If you haven't been doing them, that's totally fine. But make sure that you get going on the discussions and the reading, the exam. Don't forget the closing assignment. And again, one last time, don't forget that our class ends Friday night at 11:59 p.m. I will feel really bad for you if you miss the deadline and email me on Saturday. But unfortunately, at that point, it will be too late. Everything will be closed, including the ebook site. So please make sure that you get everything done by Friday night. Thank you so much for those of you who have joined me every week or as often as you can. I've really enjoyed the opportunity to interact with you, even though I can't see you. I wish all of you the best of luck in your other classes and on your finals. I hope you have a wonderful and restful winter break when it comes. We are almost there, so hang in there. And I will hang out for a little bit if you do have any questions for me about anything from this week or about stuff related to the class. Otherwise, thank you again so much. Everyone, take care of yourselves. Hang in there. And I will hope that I maybe see some of you in future classes. I'm going to minimize this so I'm not staring at myself, but will be here for a little bit if you do have any questions at all for me. Otherwise, again, thank you all. Have a wonderful, wonderful week, a wonderful break, and I will hope to see you in the future. You're welcome. Thank you as well. Thank you so much. And again, I will hang out for a little bit if you do have any questions for me. Otherwise, of course, you're welcome to go and have a wonderful week. And thank you, thank you, thank you again. Good. I'm so glad to hear it. Thank you so much for sharing that with me. And I am, again, still here if you do think of anything that you have questions about. Otherwise, of course, you can always email me if you think of something a little later on. Oh, thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful break as well. It's coming. We're so close. We're almost there. Thank you. I plan to. Definitely lots of peppermint bark and peppermint chocolate things for the holidays. I'm definitely ready to eat as usual.